What's the main obstacles to business growth? According to the ICC, it's the need for greater professional skills and the lack of consistency surrounding business practices around the world. John Danilovich, Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce, joins me now to discuss how these things can be addressed. Well, John, the ICC has opened its own academy, but surely organisations can rely on the state or bachelorship education levels now?
State education plays a critical role in the education of business executives and business professionals throughout the world on an ongoing basis. But the International Chamber of Commerce, as the world business organization, and particularly in opening the ICC Academy in Singapore, is providing a very significant impact in this whole e-education certification process. And inasmuch as education is a lifelong progress, particularly in the financial commercial area, these particular courses that are being offered by the Academy fulfill a role on an ongoing basis in a changing regulatory environment, which will always be important for businesses.
Well, do you think then maybe the courses that universities are teaching are lacking so much if they're not sort of preparing people for the business world and the sort of skills they'll need?
The requirements that are necessary as business evolves requires new and additional training as time goes forward. And rather than having professionals leave their workplace and go to a campus or go to a school or go to a college for an extended period of time, which is already a disruption in terms of productivity, the flexibility provided by the Academy, the ICC Academy, is such that it allows them to take courses online at flexible hours when it's possible for them to do so.
So when people leave university, they have a certain skill set, but as they go on, what sort of things do you think they need to develop or work on to sort of be more rounded in the business environment?
I think when young individuals leave university, they're absolutely well prepared for their introduction to the business world. But as their careers progress, they'll need to adapt to changing regulations. They'll need to adapt to a regulatory world, not only regionally, but globally is changing. And inasmuch as that is an absolute requirement as time goes on, we need to have global standards for global business. Professionals need to adapt themselves as things go forward.
Well, of course, a lot of entrepreneurs, leading entrepreneurs such as Richard Branson, didn't have a formal education as such. So unless it's for industries that really need these sort of qualifications like accountancy, that kind of thing, is it really necessary? Isn't the School of Life enough?
The School of Life is a tremendous learning ground, and Richard Branson is an excellent example. He's an outstanding entrepreneur and a great example for anyone. Whether or not he's had a significant educational background is irrelevant in the case of Richard Branson. However, we all have to be involved in compliance these days and governance. And those young professionals which are coming out of university, which are entering the workplace at various stages in their careers, need to be aware of new compliance rules, new regulations. They're constantly changing. And I can assure you, Richard Branson is also very much of the changing regulatory environment in many of the countries in which he operates.
Well, putting the academy to one side for a moment, what sort of executive education do you think people should be looking for in this day and age with the sort of changing landscape of the business environment?
You see throughout the world the creation of trading blocks on a truly international basis with the World Trade Organization, also with the United Nations in terms of regulatory requirements, but also on a regional basis with regards to NAFTA in North America, the North American Free Trade Agreement, CAFTA, the Central American Free Trade Agreement, TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which now looks like it's going forward very strongly, which involves 12 countries in the Pacific area, which will be a significant trading bloc. The ASEAN trading bloc as well. There's the TTIP proposition with regards to Atlantic North American trade. All of these regulations, which are necessary on both an international and regional basis, are important. And they all have different regulatory requirements, as does the European Union, for example. So it's important that executives are aware of exactly what their requirements are in terms of meeting those regulatory requirements.
You've mentioned creating consistency around business practices around the globe will be one of the objectives of this new college. Surely what oils the wheels of commerce is the very fact that businesses are all different.
Businesses are all different, of course they are, and that's what makes them unique and dynamic and competitive. However, global business does require global standards, and there are cross-cutting requirements which are necessary in world business to stabilize the marketplace. So in no way taking away from the uniqueness of regional or local businesses, there are standard operating procedures which are universal, which the Academy and other universities, whether you're at a Stanford, Harvard level or at an ongoing lifelong learning level, take into account.
A lot of executive education accreditation came under attack after the financial crisis for apparently turning out aggressively minded individuals. What do you make of this?
No, I think it's actually just the opposite. I think the more education you have, the more you are aware of what the regulations and compliance requirements are, what the governance regulations are, the more you will conduct yourself in a correct manner. I think those indiscretions or criminal acts, in some cases that took place, were a result of perversions of the actual regulatory environment rather than using them to your benefit.